Okay.
Oh, I honestly didn't even see that guy. So you think I'm gonna kill him there, but I'm not gonna do it. Maybe I should though. Hold on. I feel like if I kill him, I'll get cornered somehow. About this as an escape strategy.
Okay.
Wait, no!
So let's do another game.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna. So do you know the first? Actually, do you know the basic thing that you're trying to accomplish at the start of the game, like what the meta or the strategy is at the beginning? So generally, what you want to do. Do you know what castling is?
That's when you swap your king and your rook, right?
Yeah,
they swap
exactly.
positions.
Yep. So normally you try to move the pieces in between the king and the rook and bring them, put them on some squares, generally in the center, and try to get the king out of the center of the board.
Oh, so you want to castle as soon as possible so your king is safe.
Yes.
You can't get trapped.
Now, most of the time you try to castle to the so for you this would be to your right. Normally you call it like the king side castle. So you try to get the pieces to the right.
I see.
Yeah.
Move those pieces forward. Get the king next to the
right. Get the king rook next to the rook. Yeah, do that little trick.
Okay.
Okay. Good move. I'm just going to develop.
Is it bad if I move? Oh, you move forward one, so it's not that bad to just move forward one.
That's a good move. Very, very good. Okay, now this is not a bad move, but normally there is this structure. You see how you have these three pawns, the one right up one square from your king on the dark square, and then the pawn. You have those three pawns are kind of it's almost like a triangle. These three pawns.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying at the bottom right.
Right. So normally this is what we call like a fianchetto. And so when you put the pawns like this, normally you want to put that bishop on the light square that's one square up, as opposed to bringing it to square it's on. Because if you look at this, where this bishop is right now, think of it as like a sniper. Basically, it's just aiming at this pawn, but you're never going to be able to capture this pawn here.
So it's kind of. But if I go into that second square, I'm just blocked off by my horse.
In the short term, yes. Now again, this is much more advanced, but basically the point that I'm making is that normally when you do set up this these three pawns like this, you want to put the bishop there. Now I'll explain why. Okay. I think after the game I can show you, so I'll explain afterwards.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But you want to avoid this general triple pawn setup with the bishop outside of it.
Yeah, normally you want the bishop one square backwards, but it's fine. So what's your next move? Just following the theme.
I would say I'm still trying to. So I now I would go here, right? The castle.
Very, very good. So this is the first step of what you want to accomplish. Now there are many different opening strategies you can use to do this, but this is the first step of like trying to understand and get better at the game of chess. Because if you keep the king in the middle of the board, it's much more vulnerable than once it's castled.
This is a defensive style of play, I guess. Maybe
pretty much everybody does it at the very start of the game. You just do it to get the king out.
Both teams are actively trying to do it.
Yeah, because if you look at what I've done, also you look at my moves, I've also gotten my king out of the center of the board too.
Right. Okay. And then now that I've castled, what's my game plan? Is it now? It's just to play as we go.
Yeah. Now you should probably just play. Unfortunately, I played something that's very close. So since you're a beginner, this is actually very, very hard to play. So I just want you to just play what you want to do here. Okay. Yeah. Just follow your instincts. So this is a very bad sort of example. This position is not a good position.
Not a good position for me.
Well, no, it's not a good position in terms of trying to learn, because it's a very closed position. Okay. So what happens is when you're newer to the game, you want sort of open files, open lines, so it's easier to understand. Whereas when the position is very closed here, do you know what a file is?
No.
So okay, if you look at you see where your king is and my king, the kings that are opposite each other.
Yep.
This is basically called the G file, because you see the G, and this is called the G file. So from the first one to the yeah, so it's like the lane, exactly, up and down from one into the other. So we call these files. So like generally you want these open lanes or these open files in chess, and in our current position there are none that are open. So it's very hard to play for to have like a straightforward plan here.
Right. So right now the game has to unfold a bit before you can actually set something up, because there's no open lanes.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't
That's fine.
Do that.
That's fine.
That's okay.
No, it's completely fine. I don't really expect you to have like a clear plan. You haven't made any blunders yet, so this is quite good.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to be very careful. The thing is, I wouldn't have this much time in a normal game, but if I'm able to take my time, I feel like I can kind of think through better. But then the game will take like 2 hours though if I do that. So I need to be mindful of that as well. Okay, let's see here.
I would say the main thing is you don't want to make you try not to give up your pieces for nothing in return. Free. That's the most important thing at the very start.
Right. Okay. Let's see here. No. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep it simple, I think, for now.
Okay, very good. Okay, I'm gonna develop.
And then I'll counter develop.
Okay, very good. Yeah, so far you're playing completely fine. This is good so far.
So there's gonna be trades here. I'm definitely picking up on that. The question is, so when I think about trades, and I have to think about if I'm gonna come out on top. I think that's the most important thing. But since, let's see, if I kill him, then you're gonna kill me with. No, I think you win this trade. So I'm not going to actually enter this.
Are you sure?
Because I think you win because after I kill your pawn, then your
horse, yes,
your horse will kill my pawn, and then I can kill him with my horse, but then your other horse can kill me.
Right, now that's actually even because that's both sides get one pawn and they get one knight.
Oh, so it would just be a fair trade.
Yeah, now I'm not saying you should do it.
The bad thing about it is that you would get a lot of map control, maybe, right? Because you would end up in the center of the screen with your horse. So maybe I ignore that and I move on to something else.
Yeah, that's pretty good understanding of what's happening. Yeah, basically what we would call is, you would say there's more space. Like where the pieces are, I have more space in the center part of the map.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now we got an issue. We got an issue on our hands. I can't afford to lose this piece like that. So I'm gonna have to get out of the situation, but it appears I have to go back actually because everything else I do is a kill for you. So I'm out of here.
Okay.
And then now that's a piece for you, but that's okay if you want to do that. We give you that move. So I'm going to do this, which I think won't get me killed if I look very closely. Is it worth it? Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Oh. So I see you setting up a trap. I'm feeling I'm feeling something getting set up right now.
Well, yeah, because also I mean basically I just gave you a free pawn. You just got this pawn for nothing. So of course there has to be some reason, because I wouldn't just give you that pawn for no reason normally.
Right. Also, I see there's some sort of crossover going over there. So how can I can't. What is can I read castle or swap positions of my?
No. Once you've already done that, you can't do it again.
You can only castle once a game.
Correct. Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. Let me see here. I've got to stop this attack that's coming in. And I think the way for me to do that is by moving. Wait, you're going to get a free piece here. I need to adjust for that as well. This is a dangerous move out of me, but I'm doing it. I think it makes sense.
Okay. It's a good move. You played the best move.
Okay, that's good to hear. But it sounds like I played the best move, but I'm still fucked. That's what it sounds like you just said to me.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much.
Is there a way out of this situation for me? That's all I want to know. I don't know what's about to happen.
You mean like if I was playing like a professional player here?
Yes. Like, is there moves for me to get out of this?
Probably not.
No, it's done.
It's already pretty bad.
If you were playing another Grandmaster, even they can't get out of the situation that I'm in right now, which I don't know what it is.
They would probably, they would probably lose. Yeah, they'd probably not resign here, but they would lose this like 95% of the time, if not more.
Oh, the thing is, I don't even know what's about to happen, and then you're telling me that it's fucked. So I see that. I don't know. I've lost the motivation after you said that.
Well, okay, but try to, but this is actually very useful because there's a certain theme here that's really important as well.
Okay. If I go there, it doesn't make sense. There's nothing for me to really do here. I feel like I'm like tunneled up, and one of my pieces can't go really anywhere.
Yeah,
but,
and
okay,
so go ahead. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Oh fuck. I honestly didn't even see that guy. So you think I'm gonna kill him there, but I'm not gonna do it. Maybe I should though. Hold on. I feel like if I kill him, I'll get cornered somehow. What this? As an escape strategy.
Okay.
Wait, no!
I'm gonna check.
Oh.
Mate. So let me get this. I think actually, how do I copy this? 1 second. Let me get the fence so that I can. 1 second. So yeah. So in this game, you played knight c3, right?
Yeah. Wasn't I white before, or am I looking from your POV right now?
Oh, you can look from your point of view too. You just like this. That's fine. I can look from my point of view also.
Okay.
Oh, what happened to?
Yep. I think this is what happened in the beginning.
Right. Okay, so yeah, so anyway, right, so you played knight c3, which is completely fine. I played d5, you played knight f3, e6, g3. Now this, as I said, this is a very reasonable way to play here, but you want to put your you want to put the bishop on g2, not h3, because this is what we call the fianchetto, where you have these 3 pawns with like f2, g3, h2, and normally you put the bishop here and then you castle. Now again, the reasoning for this is pretty advanced, so it's not really gonna make a whole lot of sense probably, but long term what you're gonna aim to do is at some point, once the kings are castled, you're probably gonna try to, let me just play a random move, like let me make some random moves, like something like this for example. You're gonna try to play e4 and open up this long diagonal. So when you put the bishop on g2, long term you're gonna try to open up this diagonal, but it's not something immediate, so it's
like playing it out for like later in the game.
Right, so that's why actually generally for players who are like newer to the game, I would not recommend setting up like this, because the concepts around putting your bishop here, it's very, very long term, and it requires like maneuvering, like for example moving this knight backwards. Now when you're new to the game, a move like this doesn't really make a whole lot of sense.
Well, I think going forward always is not good, so I think it could make sense, right? You can't always just continue to, like, you can't just attack their board at once, so going sideways is not that bad, I feel, right?
Right, but still, it's one of those things though that you're always trying to go forward. You're trying to move up the board at the start, so it's not something that's practical. But anyway,
yeah, I agree.
And now you play g4. Now the second really basic rule that's very important here is that once you get your king out of the center of the board, you actually don't want to push any of your pawns in front of your king.
Keep covering it.
So it's like, for example, you go back to the start of the game, it's like one of the most basic things that I tell people is that you want to try to take control of these 4 center squares. Now the reason the center is very, very important, but generally if you're pushing pawns in the center of the board, let me just play just a random, I'll just play a really random setup so that you can understand what's going on. Let's just say we got some position like this for example. You see how you have these pawns in the center of the board that are really pushed. You're taking a lot of the map here, the center part, but also your king is not in the center, so you're pushing these pawns, but your king is nowhere near there. Your king is has gone vulnerable. It's gotten away from everything here, where you're trying to open up the position. So like when we get back to the game here and we get to this position right here, now that with the king out of the center of the board, when you start pushing the pawn in front, you actually just weaken the position around your king. Like if we look
I should keep that triangle that I have. It's a good thing to have, unless so is that 2 different strategies where, you know, I have the triangle set up around the king opposed to me forcing the center map control?
Exactly. Yeah, so normally
it's 2 different setups.
Yeah, so normally if you're trying to play for the center control, you don't want to play an opening like this. Probably what I recommend if you're going to try to play, actually your second move is very good, by the way, this knight move. If I don't push my pawn here, let's just say I push the pawn, you should take more of the central control here.
Right. Like if the person's giving it to me, I take it. That's kind of how you do it.
Exactly. Yeah. So like for example, the funny thing is like this is what we call like hyper modern chess, where I try to actually I hope that you overextend and eventually I can use this this long diagonal for the bishop. That's kind of the plan.
So if I continue to move up, then you can kind of plan like if you notice the opponent's playing really aggressive, then you move your bishop over to that spot. So long term, they might not realize you could just snap him from the side.
Exactly. So like when we get back now to like to the game, for example, what you're doing here, what's happening is that when I move my knight away here, I'm looking to maybe take more of the central control, but I might also try to like push this pawn and bring my rook up and attack your king. Whereas like if we go back here, let me just play some random moves here. Even if I get some position like this, for example, there's still really nothing happening here. Like I can't attack anything. You're just really solid. These pawns are just in front of your king, your bishop, and your knight, and there's no danger whatsoever.
Yeah, I have a strong defense system for my king. So you have to. That's probably when your game plan of like eliminating the pieces outside of that starts to kick in. Maybe once you notice that my king is so heavily defended, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah. So like what I want to do once you do this is two things. First of all, I want to you want to develop your pieces. So like a lot of my pieces are not active here. This rook in the corner, this bishop, they're not doing a whole lot. And even my rook here, I've castled, but I don't have activity. So what I'm trying to do here is I see that you're pushing this pawn in front of your king. So I want to attack either in the center here, or maybe do something like what I did with knight d7 and maybe push a pawn and bring a rook to go after the king. Also, I think I said this before, but when you look at the bishops, you should think of them as like the snipers or the ops. They're the pieces that from like really far distance cause problems.
You play them for long, like it's a long term. You want to have them in spots where later on they might have an opening, basically, right? You don't really want to activate them so much in the beginning. The knights are your pieces that you're taking a lot of the control of the map and moving forward with, I guess.
Right.
Those are like your clutch players in the end of the round.
Exactly. Yeah. Right.
CS. I don't know if you played any CS, but
long time ago.
It's starting to look a little bit like similar to in the sense of like map control. Like if there's something open, map control, you can go and take it. Or like trading pieces is like trading in CS. Like if someone kills one of your guys and you have to kill him back.
Right.
Otherwise, like it's really bad.
Yeah, and also one other thing is like if you have an advantage, like you're ahead, then you're happy to trade everything off. You're happy to like do the even trades. Like if you have an extra queen,
over 3 for 2,
yeah, exactly. You're very happy to do that. So all right, so back to this game just to get to a critical moment. So you see how I put this bishop on this square, this light square here.
Yeah.
Now the reason, again, like right now it looks like it's doing nothing. It just looks like there's a knight, there's
blocked off completely.
Yeah, it's blocked off completely. But the reason I do it is because my plan here is that eventually I want to open it up. So we were discussing this even trade here. Now again, it doesn't I wouldn't really worry too much about why this is bad, because like I said, it's an even trade. But the point behind me doing this is that I'm trying to if you just look at, I'm just making a couple moves here.
It works out better for you, I feel, though, right? When I do that trade.
Right. Well, first of all, I get more space, but there's also another reason, which is that in this position, I can play a move like this. And okay, so right now you'll see that I'm going to capture the knight, right?
Yeah. So, but I can kill you, but you've opened up a lane for your bishop.
Right. So actually, I want to see. Can you find? I'm curious if you can find the best move here, because there's a good move. You? Yes, which is not. I'll flip the board around so you can look at it from the other side. But I'll give you a hint. It's not to capture. It's not to do the 1-for-1. It's not to just recapture this pawn here.
Can you flip it back? Actually, I had a better. I lost my.
Sure, that's fine.
I saw it better here.
Sure, that's fine.
So as black, you're saying, right?
Yes, I'm saying a move for black. Yeah.
I think I see it actually. Actually, it doesn't work. Wait, actually, no, it'll be good. Well, is it for a checkmate or is it just for a good trade?
It's basically you're gonna end up way ahead.
Okay, so I think that if I move this knight here, then you have a check, and you're forced to.
Oh, let me ask you a question. Do you know what this is, by the way? Because right now you're attacking the king, right?
Yeah.
You're also attacking this pawn. Do you know what this term is called?
No.
So this is called a fork. So it's like basically it's like you're attacking multiple things at the same time.
I have multiple targets, right?
Right, and I actually can't stop you from capturing next move because I have to move the king somewhere or give up the queen for the knight.
Exactly. So that's how I saw it. I can trade the queen, and that's in my favor because my knight is worth, I think you said 3, or is it 3?
Knights and bishops are basically worth the same. They're both worth 3.
Yeah. So this is I think it's pretty good for me.
Yeah, so this is great because it's 9 for 3. And for example, if you get to this position here and you have an extra queen for like a bishop, the main thing you're looking to do is do all the even trades. Like you want to trade off the rooks. You don't mind if it's an even trade, a bishop for a bishop or a bishop for a knight, because at the end of the day, the queen is much more powerful.
I'm up so much right now. So if it does come down to me trading that, then it's fine because I've already taken out the queen. Exactly.
So if we get back to this position, right here after this knight move, let's say I move my king here.
Right. And then at that point, I think I back up and just take the pawn for free because you can't trade it, right?
You could do that. Now, there are a lot of captures here with the knight. Many captures.
Oh, I think I can move. Could I move here? That way you have to move back down, and then I can kind of try to corner you, maybe.
That's a move, but
I don't know how I would corner you. So it wouldn't really make that much sense. I don't have any plays off of it.
So you have what's called a discovered attack here.
Okay. I don't know what my best move is.
So think about it. I just said discovered attack. Now you don't know what that means, but if you just think about it, just straightforward. When I say discovered attack, you know what a discovery is.
All right.
So
I've discovered an attack.
You're going to discover an attack with your next move.
Okay. I'm going to discover an attack with my next move. Let's see. Oh, wait. Maybe this guy doesn't really help me.
Okay, so I'll tell you what the move is, okay?
Yeah.
So the move is that you capture this bishop here.
Wait, go back again? Where was that?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, yeah, I was.
But why? But why? This is the thing. I mean, you have to understand why this is the best move.
Wait, you killed a bishop, right?
Right, but there's another much more important issue here. What's the move that you think that white should play here?
The white would probably just immediately trade off with the queen, right?
Right. Except there is one problem. I can't do that. And why can't I capture the knight?
Oh, right. You need to move your king.
Right. So when I say discovery, like what this means is that like let's just pretend the bishop. I'm just gonna pretend.
I see. So your knight is safe because they have to move their king because it doesn't protect their king. I see what you're saying.
Right. So like I just set this up where it's not a capture here. But for example, if we have the same position but the bishop is here, if you move this knight here, it looks like you just capture the knight. But you can't because your king's in check. I'm going to capture your king.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So they have to make a move where their king moves. So you force them to do something else.
Right. And then you capture the rook. So you give up the knight, which is worth 3, for the rook, which is worth 5.
Oh, so that you're saying that would have actually been the best move if it was played out like that. If the bishop was actually moved one.
There's actually a better move too in this position, and I just you wouldn't be able to find it, so I'll just show it to you. But why is this move the best move that I just played on the board?
You went forward with your queen. So there's no check right now. But so what happens here is that if your knight kills that pawn, that king has to kill that king has to go to the left. Actually, no.
So okay, let me try to simplify it for you. So one thing that's important is to look for checks. Now, checks are where you're threatening to capture the king.
Oh, I know what it is. You do the same move. You just move your knight to the bishop, and then that guy has to move at that point.
That's one idea. But let's just say I push my pawn to stop any of your ideas with the bishop towards the king.
Okay. And then at that point, I think I would just. No, I can't kill it because there's a knight there. I need to force the king into a check.
Like you always want to be looking for checks.
All right. Well, the pawn has to move if I want to check. Or unless, wait, no, actually, no. I can move the queen forward to that pawn over there. That way, it's a check. I think it's checkmate at that point, right? Is it?
Yeah, it is. It's checkmate because basically the knight protects the queen and the king has no squares.
Yeah, that's what it is.
So this is just a very.
So anytime you see the situation, you always want to try to get the check, like just to force them to do something, and then you can use that to your advantage because when you have that check, you can put your pieces in places where they would normally die.
Yeah, so like you want to look for basically captures, like these trades. You want to look for the trades, and you want to look for ways to make checks.
Gotcha.
So again, like if I now you see like the reason that everything went wrong here was mainly because this pawn has been pushed too far. This was the reason everything goes wrong in all of these variations. It's because of this one pawn move.
I just want to give a quick reminder. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, smash that shit right now. I appreciate all the support. You guys are the best.